Uh, so we are preparing this 20-hour schedule for auditing. Now this is very important because after the exam you have limited energy. At the same point of time, if the chapter is not engaging enough, you may not be able to put that attention. So it's a tough scenario where we do multiple iterations along with CA Hari. So Hari, we have first, you have very well compiled the respective weightages on the last 3 papers and also in general looked at the institute weightage. So that is clear. So roughly we understood how the paper is going to be. Now added to that, we are also looking into the detailed index mapping, not just the weightage. What exactly is the scope of the chapter? If you look at a chapter like audit evidence, it is important. Of course, it will come for 10-12 marks, but you have to compile and complete a lot of things. So that way, what I believe is, we can begin with audit of items of financial statements, which has decent weightage, and it also gives you a quick perspective of what needs to be done. So this is what I think. Can we do that? In the car, they're doing index mapping. So index mapping during the journey, followed by audit of items of financial statements. Can we do this? So for this, how much time do you need?
2 to 2.5 hours.
Okay. So let's say I'm removing this in first slot. So when I say this slot is before the break, we'll feed them something in the car and then we'll make them study. So once this is done, audit of items of financial statements, this is done. Next, should we go for a bigger chapter or should we do a series of smaller chapters?
Smaller chapters.
So once this is done, they will be reasonably exhausted. So we'll do the remaining smaller chapters. So that way, once it is done, we'll focus on first 2 chapters. They're scoring and easy, right?
Yes.
Or should we push it to the last day?
These 2 chapters means basic.
Basics are important.
Yeah.
So returning is important and also easy scoring. So we are going with the first 2 chapters: nature, objective, and scope of audit strategy, planning and audit program. So these 2 chapters are also done. So right now we're done with 3 chapters before 8:39. Now one more chapter which can help them, because chapter 3 and chapter 4 are quite big. So can we push that within this time slot, or what do you think?
No, we can't actually. They might be exhausted.
So we'll keep it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Ethics can be good because it is small and easy and small. 4 mark, 5 mark.
Okay. Okay. Or audit of bank, which is better.
Bands are also very large.
Okay. So ethics, is it?
Yeah, ethics.
So then we're putting in ethics in terms of audit. So day 1, if you look at it, and we'll start with index mapping, which they will clearly cover all the topics. This itself will have 5 to 6 marks in fact. Okay, this is done. And then we'll move on to the audit of items of financial statements with a weightage of 10 plus marks.
Yes.
Then chapter 1, then chapter 2, and followed by ethics. So 10 plus another 15 marks. Easily 25 to 30 marks is covered, which is doable on day 1. Then moving on to day 2, we can get started with something like risk assessment or audit evidence, which you want. Okay, then we can do with audit evidence and audit documentation. These 2 things can be done in a single slot, right? Okay, done. So since we are covering this, so these are simpler topics, easy to be done with decent score. Since we are covering this, can we go ahead and finish completion and review report, or do you want to do risk assessment first? Okay. So as you can see, this is exactly how we brainstorm. Already a strategy is there, one more strategy is there. We keep building and rebuilding so that you'll get the best possible output. So we'll arrive at this in another 30 minutes, and also we are also sharing printouts. I think last exam also we have given in the centers which our students are writing. So that way it will be helpful and watch the complete video at an appropriate time. But for now, this is exactly how we strategize. Thank you for recording this.